Good evening and welcome to Bentley University. We are so excited that you're joining us for this live chat. And before we begin, just a few pieces of, I guess, housekeeping rules. If you'd like to turn your camera off, you're welcome to keep it on. The choice is yours, but there is a button on the lower left hand. You're welcome to click off the video. For the purpose of this presentation, we do have the audio muted, but you are welcome to type your questions as we go along. We will provide time at the end, but someone is keeping track of your questions and we'll be able to get to those as soon as the formal part of our presentation is over. So with that, I think we're ready to begin. Yes? Okay. Well, welcome to Bentley, and my name is Doreen Floyd. I'm one of the assistants at Bentley. I work with the engagement area of student affairs. And we're thrilled that you're taking time out of your moments in December to learn a little bit more about Bentley and the Bentley family.
My name is John Teagan, and I'm an associate dean here at Bentley. We're excited to meet you in January.
Okay. Well, again, welcome to Bentley. I think we've covered that. Now, for families who are here and having your students start mid-year, during the academic year, poses a lot of questions. And I will also say that although John and I work here at Bentley and are terrific, we also are parents of college-age students ourselves. So we can empathize with a lot of the questions you may have or what you are going through. Just going to move a little bit closer. So especially coming in January, some of the questions that tend to be on the minds of our families are, will my student be successful? We know that you are coming to Bentley for very intense, and those questions can be really important. What is it like to enter mid-year? Will it be as easy for my student as it is for students who start in September? I'm going to show you that the answer to that is yes, but we'll give you information. How easy will it be for my students to connect with other students, with roommates? What will it be like for them when they get on campus? Is your campus safe? What can I expect in terms of security? And if I have questions along the way, who can I contact? Who will I be able to talk to when those moments arrive?
So, as Doreen indicated, as being parents, I think we probably come from a similar perspective to one that you as parents are approaching it as well. Really, there's actually a philosopher, a sociologist who created a framework for essential student needs. And he actually...
we need to speak up. We need to speak a little louder. Yes.
I think the philosopher will cover later, but oftentimes the students that graduate from Bentley are described as poised, problem solvers, prepared, resilient, critical thinkers. They can do, they hit the ground running. All of these adjectives have been described graduating Bentley. And I think the question is, how does Bentley actually produce such graduates? Well, to be frank, we do start with some excellent starter ingredients. So we have an advantage. We also had a great staff and faculty, and of course we have a plan. And here to support that plan. For those, for helping those students to grow, to develop, and that's what I was referencing before. The Division of Student Affairs does, in fact, work to support and enhance the academic university, and it provides a framework for student development. Together, in conjunction with departments throughout the university, the fair strives to ensure growth and development needs are at the forefront and Bentley approaches experience. Along the way, all of these interactions lead to student development, to ideas being formed, and to autonomy being. So this is a gentleman I was referencing before. His name is Abraham Maslow. This idea of what human beings require in order to be successful. And even though it was a theory back in the 30s and the 40s, I think his pyramid, his Maslow pyramid, is something that we as parents probably understood quickly from the first time that we actually had kids in the house. And really, the baseline of the pyramid is physiological needs. And that is food and shelter. So So that's how we're going to begin the presentation, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about shelter available at Bentley University. So that starts with housing. Housing here at Bentley for first-year students is broken down into 3 separate buildings. The Trees is the largest of the 3 buildings. It is actually like a high-rise laid flat. Miller's Lake are smaller. They each have doubles, triples, and some quads. There are no quads in the Trees. There are lounges in each hall. There is a kitchen that can be used. There are common bathrooms and some defined I'll get into later. So this is a typical first-year student residence configuration. They exist probably at every university in the country. Intended to create kinds of connection with the incoming configuration is. So in terms of what to bring, for some of you, this might be the first time that you're contemplating sending your. So the basics, again, towels, the extra logs are as well, a toiletry kit, some clothes hangers, a table board, perhaps, depending. What not to bring is anything that would allow for cooking in a residence hall, inside a room. Microwaves are acceptable, but nothing that would require heat. Obviously, fire code plays a role here. It's concerned about everyone's safety. It's good in the kitchen, but we found that it's best to not have those appliances. Cigarettes, along the same lines, smoking is not permitted on campus. Fire code, as well as the atmosphere, lead to some negative consequences for those that don't smoke. Halogen and neon lights are a fire hazard and are also prohibited. They throw off a lot of heat. No pets, except for fish, which I'm not sure if you guys can consider pets, but for our purposes, they will be. We're being told to get a little closer, so if you'll pardon me, I will do so. What do the buildings contain? Well, thankfully, there are bathrooms on every floor, showers, sinks, and toilets. There is a laundry available in each of the buildings. Washers and dryers that are $1.75 per load are paid for through the ID. So the get a credit card in this case, or a debit card in this case, and so that's how they would make use of the laundry facilities. Well, I did say that. I think they might end up doing laundry, but it's not something that's required of you. Want to, depending on how good your child is or student is at cleaning their own clothes. I think it's a debate.
Delicate balance, John.
It is. The other aspects of the buildings are common areas, or lounges, or study and function rooms. Each of these spaces is Wi-Fi capable, so you'll see students. In fact, we do see students. Laptops open, either working on a presentation or just enjoying themselves. But in the residence hall, I think those lounges serve as both study group function preparation rooms, a lot of group projects. So you can see a lot of groups of students practicing their presentations. There are also some vending and snack machines. The Bentley Dining Program exists actually to service and support all first-year students, and it is mandatory for every first-year student to lives in to be on a meal plan. And we think that Maslow's pyramid is onward shelter. The dining plan program has its own website. It's at Bentley. I encourage you to take a look at it. It does have a common white access within 921, as well as discretionary funds, which are used on campus in various facilities over middle campus. Each area has its own all large. Dining program is also intended not just to provide subsidies, but also serves as the location for have here every year. It's called Breakfast by the Light, and it's during reading day, the day preparation day for finals. People are served breakfast from 11 p.m. till about 2 a.m. This year, like every year, we have over 1,000 students show up, about 30, getting ready to go, tater tots and waffles and syrup. So it's an event. So I talked to you a little bit about the space. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about help manage the space. You referenced earlier. And also to break the ice a little bit, to encourage interactions. And, you know, full disclosure, I think maybe of everyone in the room, I think who actually transferred into university of the year. So I have a very clear recollection of that, of how challenging it can be to break into an already existing community. But it can be done. And, the RAs are there to help them to interact. They'll introduce them to people, certainly introduce them to activities. And just, they know the ropes, and so they serve as an information resource for every incoming student. Now, within each residential building, there is a dedicated professional staff member known as a residence director. They have offices actually in the building, and they oftentimes live directly in the building that they manage and support. And their functions are varied. They'll have a master's degree. They serve as staff managers, so RA staff that actually live in the building, but as professional staff. They do actually create programming for defined community, whether that's the honors community or the wellness community. And those are all listed on the housing website, the Residence Life website, that I encourage. They manage room changes and conflict mediation that occurs. They do have some conduct interactions as well, just to, I guess, students, the residents all. Actually are a functionary or a function of their team as well, and we'll talk about that later. And they do work as well as make sure that the facilities themselves are actually functioning. That's during the day. After hours, which is after business hours, most of the activity takes place in the residence hall. RDs serve on a rotating that means that every night there's a professional adult staff member on duty for the entire campus. And so they serve as a resource to other staff that's on duty. Sometimes they're called to or a psychological. And on a rare occasion, they will be enlisted to let a parent know that something is going on. Additionally, they manage facilities and also act for other campus departments, whenever the university is. Overnight scenario as well as as necessary to a senior residence life staff member who also on a nightly basis. All of this preparation and all of this structure is actually about the word you see on your street, care, which is not actually also about professionals. Every Monday, Dorian and I sit on the campus, and we discuss students who might need a little care, might have a little bit of a difficulty. And I don't know if you want to go over this slide, though.
Yeah, so I mean, sometimes, you know, when you talk with your student or your student comes home to visit, you notice that something just might be off or something's not right, and it causes questions and concerns from family members. So when that happens, and feel free to call us at any time, you don't have to wait until something has maybe gone amiss, but when you are concerned about your student, it's helpful to know who to call. So Bentley does have a mechanism called CARE, and you can submit to us a report about your student, what you're noticing and what you are concerned about. And we will then talk as a team about the best way to connect with your student, to try and find out where they might be in need of some additional support or resources. So that is a vehicle that's accessible to all members of our community. And in fact, proven quite successful in trying to help students navigate a place that's new and perhaps a little unfamiliar.
It can be complex.
It can be. So on your screen is, our mission statement that talks about what our role is, but most like many universities, I think the crux of it is we really want students to be successful in a way that is helpful and unique and important to them. Some students might need a little more attention or a little bit more guidance, but know that we are working in collaboration with you to help make their experience as successful as it can be. So your student I think I was told earlier today that today was the deadline for completing the online orientation process. So your students who will be joining us as members of the community in January have actually just completed a very important step in that process. So that ended today, and they will be joining us in January 10th or 11th, depending on whether they're coming in as a first-year student or as a transfer. But a little bit more about what makes it. So there are a lot of schools that your student could have chosen. And there are a lot of schools that perhaps you talked about and discussed, and somehow you landed at Bentley. Best decision you ever made, by the way, that this is one of, John and I have both been here for a long time, and I cannot say enough about the school programs and our students who go here. But when you come in mid-year, and when you come into a campus, it's not just coming into a campus that delivers the promise of a great, it's really what you do with it. So at Bentley, we believe very much in a student-centered, place-based philosophy. And what that really means is you can come to campus and you can go to classes and you can sit in your dorm room and you will learn some stuff, but you will never be fully engaged the way that Bentley hopes you will be as a student, so that the promise of a great education is delivered to you. And a little bit more about where that starts. So, I think that you probably have heard by now the return on investment or what your student can expect. We know that many of you will receive great jobs upon graduation. We know that you will receive a stellar education. And we know that you will also have the promise of receiving the opportunity to have a great life. And in fact, that information is backed up by our relationship with the Gallup organization, and that we know that our graduates are thriving at a rate 44% higher than that of their peers at similar institutions. We know that students who are likely to be engaged at the university level are 6 times more likely to be engaged in the workplace, and that those same students are 3 times more likely to thrive in all 5 areas of wellness as defined by the Gallup organization. You can learn a little bit more about this philosophy on our family resource section of the orientation website. But to me, the promise of not only having the opportunity for a great career, but a great life is what makes it so unique and exciting. So what that means is that all of us have things that we do naturally well. Some of us like to talk a lot. Some of us like to participate in groups. Some of us like to ruminate and sort of be by ourselves and build things and make incredible things happen, and enjoy being a little bit more quiet than others. So one of the things that we do, and it starts at orientation in this strength-based philosophy, is helping students take their talents, finding ways to make use of those and putting themselves in situations where they get to practice being good at what they do naturally, and having those things develop into strengths. So that when students graduate, they learn what they're really, really good at and how that relates to the other students and probably people in the workplace that they'll be interacting with. This is a great foundation for long-term success. I didn't know we were done so soon. The orientation program is a way to start this opportunity for students. But I'll also tell you that when your students arrive on campus, will find ways to connect them to students, to expose them to students, perhaps think a little bit differently, they learn about the greater complexities and greater opportunities in the world. and find ways to not only take their business education to become excellent professionals, but really excellent citizens of the world. So I think that was a very quick overview. I do want to point out that on our family resource section of the orientation page, there are videos from all of the different offices and departments that make up the student care. So you can learn a little bit more about our spiritual life opportunities, our cultural center, Center for International Scholars, University Police, Health Services, et cetera. And certainly when you come, if you're able to come and join us as a family member, you'll have an opportunity to meet staff from these areas as well. So I know that I'm getting the high sign from our staff over here about the questions that are coming in, and we want to give you a chance.
So we have a few questions coming in. The first question was, you mentioned that students do laundry on campus. How exactly would they pay for laundry nowadays?
So the payment of laundry is done through their ID card, and that would be loaded with money online by mom and dad or a student. The card would be swiped. That would pay the $1.75 for the $1.75 through ID card.
Awesome. The next question, how would my student get around on campus, like entering in and out buildings? Like, how does that process work?
Well, you get around on foot, but I think the ID card is actually the key to everything. So your Falcon card is something you actually are supposed to carry with you at all times. And it gives you access to everything from your residence hall to the library, to your dining plan, to vending. It is really indispensable. That is what they use to really accomplish almost everything.
Never leave home without it, right?
Correct, yeah. And if you lose it, go get another one.
What is the safety like on campus? Like, do we have the campus police and everything? Can you go into more detail about that?
You know, Bentley is a university campus, and I think students would report that they feel very safe here. We have, as John mentioned, we have an excellent residential center staff. We also have a university police department, which is on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So even when your student might not physically be on campus, university police is here monitoring the safety and security of the campus. I think the campus does have a very good blue light system so that students can call if they need additional support while on campus. There's also an escort service so that students should not have to walk anywhere alone if they feel unsafe. And the response time from the university police is actually about 30 seconds, so it's terrific.
Awesome. Is there a possibility that I could send my student to school with bed risers? Is that allowed in the dorms?
Risers are allowed, and they're actually very useful. They lift the frame up by about 6 to 8 inches, depending, and create an extra storage space. So yes, you can purchase them at Target or any of those types of stores, and I've seen them used quite often.
The next question we have coming in is, should my student bring a cable cord for the television, or does the dorms have that access to it?
I would say both. I think we certainly have a coaxial cable port, but I also think that many students are now streaming their video content, whether that's Hulu or Xfinity or Netflix or whatever it may be. A cable cord the old-fashioned way still works, and would certainly be one way to watch video, but there are other ways as well.
Great. Are first-year students allowed to bring their car on campus?
They are not. They are not. Parking is at a premium, and first-year students are not allowed to have cars. They can petition, I think, for extenuating, and I do mean extenuating circumstances. That would go through the University Police Office.
And part of that is also philosophical,
Yeah.
that we really do want students to engage with this new community, to take part in the many events and activities that occur on a weekend or during the evening hours. And you know, the first couple of times that you have to navigate a new environment can be a little nerve-wracking. One of the great things about coming in January is you are part of a smaller class, so you have the full attention of our orientation team, their orientation students, and they work very, very hard to help connect newest members of our community to people who have been here since September, or upperclassmen who have returned from experiences abroad or taking courses elsewhere.
Great. One that just came in, will orientation programs be offered to January freshmen, just like the fall freshmen?
Well, yes, that's the general idea. We would like to replicate it almost exactly, with the exception of the weather, which we've yet to figure out. But everything that's offered to fall first-year students should be, or could be, or will be offered to incoming January students. It won't be as big a crowd, obviously, but yes, the staff will be providing the same programs, the same initiatives. Yes.
And actually, one of the things that's very exciting about this January class is the students who are coming in will be offered an extended orientation that will continue throughout their spring semester, as we're helping connect them even more deeply than the students in the fall were able to. Absolutely, you know, over the moon at the prospect of working with students throughout the entire semester.
Great. The next question, when will the student find out what when their roommate will be, who their roommate will be?
Always a popular question. We are still working on housing system. Should be sending out that by next week. I am not certain of that. And I know that's a fluid situation every year as people come in.
A follow-up to that question, will first-year students be placed with other first-year students, or is there a possibility that first-year students will be placed with upperclassmen?
No, the goal is always to put first year students. I don't think there's any possibility that I think we know everybody who's coming at the state.
When do new students move in? What's the exact date?
I would have to look at the calendar.
Yeah.
And I think it's on
Orientation,
Yeah,
so
it's
January 10th for first-year students.
January 10th for all January admit students, the first year students, and then January 11th for any transfer or exchange students.
And all of that information will also be included when you get your housing, actual date, the location, all of that calendar information, part of the housing funding offer.
And families, you should know that there are a team of orientation leaders to help assist with that process. And it runs very, very smoothly.
Moving process.
Yeah.
And John, we're getting a question, will January freshmen room with fall freshmen? So I think folks are wanting to know if their students will be with us.
That's a good question. I think whenever we can, we pair incoming freshmen together. So it will be January and January. Sometimes that's not possible, so there will be some January freshmen. All of it is really dependent on where the vacancies occur and how successful we are in consolidation. Our goal, I think, as I said, is pair freshmen with freshmen in January. But you know, there's also some benefit to living with somebody who came in September. That can act as a guide and a resource. Resume staff and the orientation. That oftentimes worked out
Switching gears to students getting involved. How do students get involved coming into like the middle of the year, into the spring semester?
One of the easiest ways for students to start to make those connections is I would encourage your students to look at the Bentley website and start to learn a little bit more about the engagement opportunities. But in very early January, I think it's the end of the first week, the student clubs and organizations will host a course fair or an activities fair, as we call it. There, your student will have a chance to meet members of the different clubs and organizations that interest them and find out how they can quickly become members. We also, in the spring semester, have opportunities for students who are coming in as second semester freshmen or upper class students for fraternity and sorority life. We feel very good about our fraternity and sorority system here at Bentley. And again, we have some great information available on our website in terms of what the values are and the pillars and standards that they have upheld themselves to. So that's a great chance to check out and see some of the engagement opportunities that we could provide to our students.
Great. The next question we have is, what if my student is having roommate issues? Is there any way that they can get that resolved quickly?
It can be addressed quickly. Resolution, I think, depends upon people involved. So by all means, I think the most important part of any that would be between roommates. That would also be between roommates and their staff member. So, or they get heated or that so to speak. It is important to have a conversation. You know, I think that sharing a room may be new for some people. I think it is a wonderful experience, lasting friendships, but also lead to the development of some of those skills. I think it will somewhat atrophy face-to-face communication. Many of our students come in, they've never had roommates, or perhaps they've never had a heart-to-heart with someone. What's important to them, or the things that they like, or the things that they don't like. The residence hall room is the perfect place for developing those skills. It's still going to be important going forward. So, resolution could work on time with flexibility, and the RA staff and the RD staff is there.
Great. Continuing with the housing topic.
Very fun.
Well, I can understand that, you know. So my own son just returned from Croatia abroad, and he informed me that he was just going to bop around to friends' rooms, and we decided that that was not a good idea. So I can understand the housing.
Yeah, that's a concern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there single rooms available still?
There would be few, but there may be some. So if that's the goal, then I would suggest that when the request comes in, when the email comes in, the request is made for first year area number somewhere in the 50s, I want to say. That's 1,000, but very small percentage in many more. I think I would also encourage, couples, you know, as I said before, I do believe having someone to look with the experience, talk about experience with, it makes the experience richer.
Great. Is there any academic support for students on campus when they're struggling with a class or the workload?
There's a great deal of academic support. So students request an individual tutor through the academic services area. They also have different labs and opportunities for students to receive digital support. And probably the biggest resource for students, quite honestly, is their faculty member, as well as the peer support in the class. But you know, one of the advantages of coming to Bentley is the classes are intentionally small. Faculty faculty members know the names of students in class, they notice when a student is not in class, and they can predict pretty quickly or see who might be struggling. So, we always encourage students to connect with their faculty member first and express some questions, concerns, or here's something that might need some more help with. Our faculty members all have office hours, and that can be really helpful for students to take advantage of those. However, if students then looking for some additional support beyond that, it is available.
Great. The next question, do you suggest any specific dining plans for freshmen or for first-year students, or are all three options great?
I would suggest, limited. I think that the cost differential is pretty minor, and peace of mind, knowing that, a student can go in whenever, at 4 or 5 meals a day if they want. They have miles, we're trading some stories. I think miles done with 8 times a day. Eat many calories.
Yeah.
And so, I think having the peace of mind knowing that they can get food when
And sometimes it's really, I think, John, you mentioned this earlier, it's about community building.
Yeah.
So the student may have already eaten a meal, but then see their roommate or a group of friends who are heading in and just want to have a chat or a cup of coffee.
Right.
So that really affords them the most flexibility.
or some dessert.
Yeah.
How many sporting events are there weekly on campus where students can go and cheer on their fellow Falcons? Are there a lot? Are there little? Can you give me more?
This question is coming from a member of the softball team. You can look on our athletics website and see the number of different home games that are available. And certainly this year, with the opening of the new multi-purpose arena last year, has afforded students some greater opportunities to cheer on our Falcons as part of the Division I hockey team.
And I want to go back to a question that was raised earlier in regards to when people would get their housing assignment. I have the actual date. It's actually January 3rd. So on January 3rd, you will get an email with your housing assignment on it.
Okay.
Still looking for further questions.
So as we kind of wrap up this part of our Family Falcon live chat, certainly want to invite, if you have questions that maybe come up after this, or some of you, I think we're having trouble with the audio, so if there was something that, you weren't quite sure about, please feel free to reach out to PA_orientation@bentley.edu email chain, and the staff will monitor that. Will make sure the questions get to the appropriate person. One of the things that we really want you to know is that as much as we want your students to be successful, we know that you want your students to be successful. So we really do view this as a partnership. And together we will hopefully be celebrating a walk across that stage sometime in May coming. But really look forward right now to welcoming you and your students to the Bentley family in January.
Congratulations. We look forward to meeting with you.
Take care.
Take care.